welcome everyone. So excited to be here. As Dan said, I've trained in many different types of theories. I teach counseling theories, and rapid resolution has been by the most powerful and transformational for me, both personally and professionally. So I'm glad to be sharing it with all of you. So I will start with a brief PowerPoint, but primarily we'll be viewing a video demonstration of Dr. Jon Connelly, the founder of rapid resolution therapy. We'll pause the video to clarify the step-by-step process, and there will be time for questions. If you just want to put your questions in the comment section or the chat box, Dan will read them out to me, and I'll be able to answer them all at the end. So the focus, although rapid resolution therapy does work on several different types of trauma, tonight's training is about resolving the ongoing effects of sexual trauma. Rapid resolution primarily uses what's called multi-level communication. So that's communicating with unconscious mind, the part of mind that is driving thoughts, emotions, behaviors outside of awareness. So consciously, Amber, the woman on the video that we will review, of course she is aware that the rapes that she survived are no longer going on. However, subconscious mind does not update or reset. So survival mind, primitive mind, subconscious keeps any file with threatening information open, upfront, and active, even when it's worse than useless and no threat is present. So this is the part of mind that we're looking to affect. So I'm going to read the right-hand side of this, these boxes primarily, which is how RRT is different than traditional therapy. So first off, in rapid resolution therapy training, there are a lot of video demonstrations as well as live demonstrations. And that's really different than, I know when I was going through graduate school, I didn't see psychotherapy being done. So here we really do it to learn it. In rapid resolution therapy, the main thing is that clients are prevented from re-experiencing any of the traumatic events. So the treatment process is painless. And it's also effortless. So I know people with complex trauma sometimes say, wow, this is a lot of hard work, and it's expected that treatment will be long-term, like years. However, RRT is really different, and it's completed usually in 1 to 3 online or in-person meetings. So the sessions are about 2 hours, so a bit longer than the traditional session, but looking to get the issue that's on the table resolved. And so we take a bit longer to make sure it's cleared and the client is free of it. Most notably, rapid resolution therapy is fun. I remember, when I practiced more traditional therapy, it was pretty draining, really serious, but oftentimes doing rapid resolution therapy, I find myself laughing, and the client is laughing with me. And that really shifts the internal experience and the how the trauma is then the impression shifts. It's through memory reconsolidation, and so there needs to be that mismatch of experience rather than experiencing it and feeling all of the fear and the terror. We're actually creating an experience de-linked from the emotion, and that changes the way the trauma is stored through the process of memory reconsolidation. So the practitioner is never traumatized, but really energized while creating transformation. I think in traditional therapy, what was happening is clients would be telling me their really dramatic, horrific stories, and I was kind of getting hypnotized by them. And in rapid resolution therapy, we start with the intention in mind. We're already seeing the client beyond the particular problem, kind of on the other side of it. And we hold that intention, and that guides everything we're doing. So they're connected to us, not us to them. And that connection serves as the magnet to shifting from the darkness to the light. It's a strength-based model, meaning that I'm just often amazed at everything clients have overcome, and absolutely use that strength and appreciate that strength to continue the healing process and actually get them to where they're experiencing post-traumatic growth and their highest purpose. Oftentimes, especially in the common cognitive therapies, transformation is from top down. In RRT, the transformation is from bottom up or inside out. So there's an internal shift. And introspection is considered symptomatic of the emotional disturbance, so we certainly don't have clients do any introspection. And I'll share a little bit of the RRT perspective so that's better understood. So the way we think about trauma is that it slams into awareness and leaves an impression. So think about a hand that slams into the sand. When you remove the hand, the sand doesn't get the good news that the hand is not there. There's still the impression. So the residual feeling post-sexual assault is not caused by the event, rather it's caused by the impression. And subconscious mind confuses the impression with the actual event. Therefore, creates emotions. An emotion is always an emotion action system. The emotions are to do something about the rape that happened years ago, because subconscious mind is a time traveler. If you're thinking about it, it believes it's happening and therefore creates the emotion to stop the rape. Mind also attaches meaning, which creates a deeper impression, or we think of it as an accumulation of data. It's not that the events go in us, the experiences don't go in us, but really what the impression is data or information about the event. Mind misreads this old data as the event happening now or about to happen. And that is the reason for the emotional responses, even when the event is no longer going on. So we certainly don't want the client to talk about the trauma and engage in introspection. This would simply add more data and make the impression that much longer. I've come to think of introspection and re-experiencing trauma as neuroplastic malpractice, simply wiring it in and actually creating a highway that is easily and frequently traveled rather than eliminating that path and having the client be clear that it's over, all facets of mind, being clear and updated and knowing that it's over and no emotions are necessary because nothing needs to be done at this point. They're perfectly safe and their survival is guaranteed. So we have a sequence that we follow in rapid resolution therapy. We start with the intention and connection with the client. We're intending to clear this impression, getting it stored as over and done, completed and defeated, rather than ongoing, right? Because with trauma, what happens is we stop the movie at the worst part, and it's that worst part with no end. So we're putting an ending on it and starting a whole new book for their life. So mind is clear, and they are free of the effects of sexual trauma. And we're intending for mind to only entertain what is of value, what's possible and good to have done. Mind entertaining what's in their best interest and highest purpose. So at the center of rapid resolution therapy is kind of how we view clients. We really think of them as having, well, all of us, as having a beautiful light within. It's just sometimes we're not aware of the light. So you'll see Dr. Connelly do this process. It's one of the steps of RRT, where we change the internal geography and perceived identity. He starts with asking the client about a time where they were outdoors in a natural setting, and they see something that's beyond beautiful, like that peak moment, and he has them describe that moment. Really gets them there, to be there, to see it as if they were there. And the way we think of it is that at that moment, attention is fully captured by that scene, and awareness drops within to where at your center, you are that beauty, that peace, that excitement. You are light. And so if that's who you are, we know that light can't be in any way injured. I mean, if we see two boys batting at a light beam, we're not worried. So the client in this process realizes that they have a body, but they're certainly not their body. They have thoughts, they're not their thoughts or their feelings. And who they actually are is that light, that peace, that excitement that they became aware of when they were in nature, that peak moment. And the perpetrator never touched that light. The perpetrator never touched their essence, never touched who they are. As a matter of fact, when I'm sitting with them and I go through this process, I say to them, I'm not even touching you, and I'm closer to who you actually are than he ever got. And that really seems to register at a very deep level because of the connection. And so after the sequence and the steps, really the client, well, every part of her brain knows the event does not exist. The meaning never did exist, and therefore nothing needs to be done about it. The brain stops producing thoughts and emotions which were designed to cause unnecessary protection, action, or behavior. So we're going to start a video. It's a short clip, 25 minutes, of the RRT sequence and the steps that we follow. One initial step in RRT is sharing the RRT perspective. This is the way we think. It's not truth. So we ask the clients to look through this lens with us because it will be of benefit, not because it is right. So we'll go ahead and start the video of Amber. And Viva, can you go ahead and play the video?
Here's a way to think. Just think this way with me. This stuff doesn't exist, so it can't have any effect. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but it doesn't exist. The thing that's been having the effect is the way that your mind has been processing information. There are two problems with the processing. Unconscious mind has been reading the information about the thing as if it's still happening, about to happen, and just finished happening all at once. And your mind has attached meaning to it. So it began to mean something about you. It meant something about the world. It meant something about people. But all those meanings mind created. And in this situation, all the meanings made it worse. So everything that's been causing the problem has been the way unconscious has been processing information. Let's do this. We want to get a baseline. For 2 or 3 seconds, you purposely cause that feeling and then nod your head when you got it. Good, done with that. Now, you're cooperative. I asked you to do something. You used conscious mind to cause unconscious to process information in a particular way that caused a certain feeling. But the thing is, it's been going on before we did this. It's often going on outside of awareness, and sometimes it poked up into awareness. If we were to create a design, some kind of abstract design, finger paints or modern art or something, representing that problematic little blip of data glitch thing, if we make up that design, is it black, white, gray, or does it have color?
Black.
More like a shape, a shadow, a line?
A scribble.
There we go. So we're done with that. Now I'm totally with you. You can tell that. I'm not like daydreaming here. But I paid attention to what you told me, which is about stuff that happened and the effect it's had. And all of that I think of as history. And history goes right to, and here's the plan. And the plan isn't history. And I'm seeing you with your mind updated, clear, rebooted, defragged. I'm seeing you with all of your humor, your energy, your creativity, your wisdom flowing freely, where you see solutions and opportunities, and there's energy and joy. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Then you and I have the same intention, purpose, and vision, and our energy is already coming together. And as energy comes together, the energy is expanding. The expanding energy is fueling a shift. Amber, the shift is already underway. What colored light would represent the energy that's fueling this shift?
Yellow.
It's a vibrant yellow that I'm seeing. It's pulsing just about. What fragrance, what special scent?
Flowers.
And what sound is that energy that's causing this shift?
A cat.
And what wild animal or bird would be inspirational to you?
A cardinal.
So we have all this stuff we need. Put your hands like I have mine placed there. Yeah, perfect. And then close your eyes. There you go. Think of a beautiful ball of yellow light suspended, floating between your hands. It's light energy. It's like a tiny little sun. And I'd like you to take your hands and really gently make tiny, tiny, tiny pats into that energy so that you can feel it. Just pat it really gently, like you're patting a butterfly and you don't want to crush it. Just real light pats. That's right. And keep your eyes closed and feel the energy. And now just stop moving your hands on purpose and just be aware of them. And you'll notice that the energy has taken your hands and they're moving on their own. And they're jerking and jumping and twitching, and that's it. And the energy is pushing against them and getting more and more and more powerful. That's it. And then it gets better and more and even still more. That's it. That's it. And then rest your arms down. Become aware of your forehead and all the muscles there automatically release. And as they do, every other muscle through your whole entire body also moves back even to the most natural position that it can be in. And then just open your eyes. What did you notice in those few moments?
Beautiful. So there we saw the beginning of the meeting. So you saw how he started off with the RT perspective. This gives you the framework for the session. So the focus of the session is not on the rape, rather it's eliminating the looping program of thoughts and feelings, clearing the impression. Another step is where he collects baseline. The baseline is a measure of the problematic way mind has been processing data. First, he starts with a feeling baseline. He says, cause the feeling for just a few seconds. And then he also asks for a visual baseline. So think of this as it's representing the data glitch that causes the looping thoughts and feelings outside of awareness. You can compare it to a computer coding program. So let's say in the coding at line 10, it has print hello. And then it has other commands. And at line 20, it says go back to line 10. And then the printout is hello with no end. Now, the only thing you're seeing is the printout. So that's how mind has gotten stuck and it can't get past the hello, or in this case, the rape, and it's outside of awareness that's causing this problem. And we come back to the baseline at the end of the session to make sure there's been an internal shift. Another step is what's called slicing time. He says, I'm here with you, feeling connected to her. I understand what you've been telling me, and I think of that as history. We're together, and I'm seeing what I'm intending for you. It's the plan, and the plan certainly isn't history. So really separating the past from the present, the then and there versus the here and now. And here and now gives us a launch pad for future intention. There was the accelerator where he had her hold her hands apart in hypnosis. This is what they may call the induction. He collects symbols because unconscious mind does not respond to language. It responds to symbols. That's why we know a flag is not just a colored piece of cloth. So I'm going to take you through an accelerator so you get to kind of experience what's going on here. I'm going to have you rub your hands together and then spread them apart a few inches in front of you and look between your hands. And imagine a ball of energy there. Look intently into the energy. Allow yourself to be drawn in, all of your attention on the energy. And every time you blink, your eyes rest. And the next time you blink, rest your eyes closed. As your eyes rest closed, you rest. And then let's imagine that the ball of energy between your hands is a beautiful ball of white light suspended between your hands and floating there. It's light energy. I'd like you to take your hands and really gently make tiny, tiny pats into that energy. Just pat it really gently, like you're patting a butterfly and you don't want to crush it. And you may sense the energy. That's right. And keep your eyes closed and feel the energy. And now, just stop moving your hands on purpose. And just be aware of them. And you'll notice the energy has taken your hands and they're moving on their own. And they're jerking and jumping and twitching, or you may feel a lot of sensation in your hands. That's it. And the energy is pushing against them and getting more and more powerful, or you can sense it more. That's it. Imagine this energy, light, fueling your learning and mind receiving new information easily, integrating elements of RRT, tapping into a new way of healing that is fun, creative, energizing. That's it. And then lower your hands slowly, really slowly. And as they drop, you drop down and drift in and down, right along with them. Down, down, deeper, further. Body relaxed, mind alert as we continue. So go ahead and open your eyes. And in this next step, Dr. Connelly separates clients' perceived identity from past experiences. So let's watch.
I felt peace.
There was a time, Amber, when you're outdoors, you see something that's beyond beautiful. Maybe you say amazing. Maybe you say awesome. What comes to mind?
Animal.
Yes. And at the best moment, the peak moment, a perfect moment, you experience excitement and peace at the same time. Amber, let's think this way. Let's think that at that perfect moment, your awareness was drawn inside toward where at your center there is peace, excitement, wisdom, clarity. That light is always on. There have been other times you also felt peaceful and excited. There have been times when your awareness was far from that. You'd explain to a child that the sun weighs as much at midnight as it does at noon. It's got to be as hot. It's got to be as bright, but our awareness of it shifts. Let's together think that where at your center there's peace, excitement, clarity, wisdom, there's light. The light is always on, but there have been lots of times you haven't been so aware of the light. Let's figure that your body absolutely has always belonged to you, but it doesn't look like it did when you're only a minute old, and every cell has been replaced over and over and over again. And so there's nothing actually here that was there, except you, because you're here. If you put your finger through a candle flame, you ever done that? And now I do, you do, I do, you do, but I'm not touching what you touched. You're not touching what I touched. We're always touching it for the first time. And your body is energy, just like a candle flame. It's just moving at a different speed, but it's always new. So if I touch your hand, Amber, I'm touching what nobody else ever touched. You have a body, it absolutely belongs to you. It's never been who you are. It's yours, not you. You have emotions and thoughts, and there are things you've done, and habits and behaviors and personality and whatever. That's not you either. That's just stuff you've been doing or stuff you've got. So let's think that who you actually are is that light that you become more aware of around animals. Who you really are is that light, that peace, that excitement, that wisdom. That's you. Think of this ugly guy trying to beat up a beautiful light beam with a big ugly baseball bat. And see how you're not a bit worried about the light beam? Because nothing can ever hurt it. And now he's just so mad he's throwing mud at it. He figures he'll just get it dirty. And you're not worried about it a bit. And see, who you actually are can never get hurt, never will get hurt, and never could get soiled. Does that make some sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the real deal. That's what is going on for you. I'm seeing this gal, beautiful young woman. She's watering this garden, and the water is coming right out of the nozzle like it's supposed to, but not as fast or hard as I'd like. And look at the hose has been kinked in a bunch of places. It still works. But imagine what that's going to be like with the kinks gone. I mean, she better hold on tight. I mean, that's going to be like a super fire hose. And as that super fire hose flows, all of the energy that's been there, but kind of slowed with the kinks. And the kinks are the way data has been reading prior experiences, and we're going to shift all that today. Got that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So we both have the same intention, purpose. I see you with that silly fire hose, and you're just shooting your beautiful energy out into the universe. And people get better just being around you. And then when you focus it, when you aim that thing, oh my goodness. So that's where we're going. You okay with that?
Beautiful. So here you see that tenet of RRT, that we are light, and there's light at our center, and that light is always on. It's just sometimes our awareness is far from that light, or our awareness is in the shadow of distortion. So the more distressing an event, the more distorted the meaning mind attaches. And meaning tends to be personal, pervasive, and permanent. So she came in saying, I'm anxious, I'm a sad person, I'm dirty, I'm damaged. This process that you just saw changes identity. Where she gets, we're not our feelings or thoughts or beliefs or things that have happened. We are not things that were done to us or things that we have done. We are the I am presence, the light, the love, the beauty, the peace at our center. So her identity changes. It changes to I am excitement, peace, wisdom, that I am aware of when I see animals. I am light. And sometimes when I'm doing this process, I'll reference myself and say, people have hurt my body, confused my thoughts, messed with my feelings, but they never touched me. And then I say that about the client, because this creates an easy agreement, bypasses conscious mind. So it's just like when Dr. Connelly references a gal that's watering the garden with a hose that's been kinked. And those kinks are the data glitches, how those impressions are kind of sucking up energy and blocking her flow, her light to shine on the world. And he shares the plan. He says, I'm seeing you with that fire hose. You're shooting your beautiful energy out into the universe. And that's where we're going. And he gets agreement. He says, are you okay with that? And she's like, yes. And so they're collaborating on this project. So now that she's feeling good, he knows that she's ready to get the trauma cleared. And I want you to notice how he keeps her present as he's doing this. And I'm hoping you could write your responses about how he keeps her present in the chat box, or after this segment of the video, if you can unmute yourself and share what you noticed about keeping her present. So go ahead and play the video again, Viva.
So this thing with this stuff you were calling sexual abuse happened probably at about what, between what age and what age?
Started when I was about 8, and the last time was October of last year.
Were there a number of different people?
Yes.
Okay. Good job. So let's think together about the thing that happened when you were 8, but you're not 8, are you?
No.
So don't be 8. Don't start feeling like an 8-year-old. Just think back on it, but you stay here connected to me, because I don't know whether you like this or not, but it's better than that. So think back on that, and as you think back on that, what was that 8-year-old feeling?
Confusion and afraid.
Now, that stuff can sometimes feel bad, sometimes can feel bad and good at the same time. Was it like that?
No.
It was just bad.
Mm-hmm.
Was it bad, physically painful, or just more yucky?
Yucky.
Yeah, perfect. So look back at her. Now, tell me something that you did in the last year, maybe, that was interesting or satisfying or fun.
Went to Vegas.
Tell me a really cool moment there.
I first time ever gambling, and I hit the jackpot.
You did? How much did you win?
2,000.
So remember that. Got it? Now look at the little girl. She's on her way to that. She didn't know it, but she is. Let's do this. Close your eyes. And you and I are standing next to each other, shoulder to shoulder, looking back through time at the little girl. And we know she's on her way to things being like some amazing experiences. And as we know that, she doesn't need to know exactly what, but as you look at her, she begins getting it that there is a future, because it's felt kind of like that's forever. As you look at her, she's going to start getting it that she's on her way to something much better. As she starts to get it, you nod your head for me. You'll see her breathing change, her skin color change. There you go. There you go. Watch that. Now, as soon as she gets it, guess what? She's not stuck. When she's not stuck, she's not there, Amber. She's not there. It's now just a sparkle that's surrounding you, circling you. You're being circled by this amazing sparkle of light and energy. And then open your eyes. Nice. Got it? Now, another time will come to mind when something yucky took place. How old were you?
14.
Good job. And as you look at that 14-year-old, what is she feeling?
Afraid.
Perfect. And fear is really about survival. It's primarily about survival. We might not have it here, but that's what's going on within. So when she's there at that moment, she really isn't sure she'll exist later. But you know she is. So close your eyes. Again, we're going to stand together, shoulder to shoulder, looking back at her. And both of us are knowing that there is a future and she's not stuck. She's going to start getting it. You can see it, or you can watch it happen in her face, in her body, the whole thing. You'll watch her get it. She's not stuck. Not when she's got that. And because she's not stuck, Ember, she's not there. You are absolutely not there. There's another sparkle. Two little amazing sparkles circulating there. Around and around in circles. There they go. Open your eyes. You know how to do a shoulder bump? You bump my shoulder with your shoulder? Okay, so close your eyes. We're going to stand next to each other, look back at that, and bump my shoulder, because this is where you are. Bump that one. That's right. This is where you are. You look back at that. She's not stuck there. That's finished, completed, and therefore it's defeated. It'll never happen to you. And then again, you open your eyes. Look at what happened when you were 8 and repeat these words. Finished.
Finished.
Completed.
Completed.
Defeated.
Defeated.
There we go. Now, really fast, like you're in a speed talking contest, describe what happened back then in detail right now.
A boy woke me up and touched me all over, and it went on for a few minutes, and I was yelling for help until I couldn't, because his hand was over my mouth, and
Keep going faster, come on.
he ended up getting caught. The babysitter walked in, and I've never seen him again.
Okay, good job. What did it feel like telling me?
Like I was looking back watching a movie.
Yeah, different, huh?
Yeah.
The next one, you were how old?
14.
14. What happened? Talk faster this time.
My boyfriend pushed me into a church closet and took off all my clothes and proceeded to try to have sex with me, and while I was standing, and 2 other people came in the room and did the exact same thing next to me, and I let him do what he had to do until he was done, and then I walked out and sat in church.
Great. And how was that?
Same thing, like a movie.
Yeah. And here we go. Number 3. 1, 2, 3. Talk twice as fast. Come on.
I was drugged in a bar and
Blah, blah, blah.
didn't
Come on.
remember anything until I woke up naked on a bathroom floor.
All right. And here you are. And say, and here I am.
And here I am.
And it's like a movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So, any comments or observations about how he kept her present? Now, there's a few of you on the call. Someone says powerful stuff. Okay, so essentially, I'll go through them. So he has her retell specific events from an observational perspective. You want her observing from the outside. You don't want her in the movie replaying and re-experiencing. So again, this allows her to kind of put an end to the movie that kept replaying because of that impression. And whenever it would get triggered, subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between the same or similar. So anything similar could get the whole thing triggered again. And he's having her see past the worst part, and he kind of puts it on a timeline, right? The little girl and then her on the way to Vegas. And he has her see and look at the little girl and watch her to notice that she gets it, that she gets she's on the way to Vegas. And she's watching for the physiological changes in the child. And you see her own changes on her face when she gets it. So again, this is really shifting at, I think of it as a cellular biological level. So she gets it, and you see that on her face. So then she gets the sense that there is a future, she's not stuck, and her survival is guaranteed. And that can never happen again. She can never be raped as a child again. And so what we're doing here is we're removing the emotional charge from the memory. We create a mismatch experience, memory recalled without the emotional activation. So we engage the client in a creative, novel, playful, active, or even humorous way to delink the emotions from the experience. And I see someone put in the chat box a way of doing this. Yes, is absolutely the shoulder-to-shoulder bump, the speed talking, the recalling details, various other ways that we come up with. They're creative. Sometimes I have them throwing a ball to me back and forth or mirroring me. Or you heard Dr. Connelly have her say, that's finished, you're not there. So all facets of mind get the update that it's over, no longer in existence, and nothing needs to be done. No emotions are needed because emotions are for action and action only. So he says it's finished, completed, defeated. And you'll see he used these kind of sing-song phrases to, again, have it register even more and have it register with all facets of mind. So go ahead, Viva, and play it to the end.
So here's the final clincher to completely eliminate the entire residue of all that. Ready for it all to be gone? Mm-hmm. You have to repeat the words I give you and say them in exactly the same tone and volume. Okay, it's about all that. Ready, set, been there,
Been there.
done that.
Done that.
T-shirt.
Got the t-shirt.
Don't like fruitcake.
Don't like fruitcake.
Fuck it.
Fuck it.
There we go. And that's clear, Amber. Try to feel bad about it now. Try to feel scared, sad, angry, guilty, ashamed. Perfect. Now say these words. I have a foot.
I have a foot.
I am not a foot.
I am not a foot.
Nobody calls me a foot.
Nobody calls me a foot.
I have an ass.
I have an ass.
I am not an ass.
I am not an ass.
Don't you dare call me an ass.
Don't you dare call me an ass.
I have a vagina.
I have a vagina.
I don't introduce myself as a vagina.
I don't introduce myself as a vagina.
I have a knee.
I have a knee.
But it isn't me.
But it isn't me.
My body's mine.
My body's mine.
It's not me.
It's not me.
Now close your eyes, and you are that light. You're an amazing, vibrant light. And the light isn't yours. The light is you. You've never been soiled. You've never been hurt. Nothing can touch you other than with perfect love. That's it. And from right there, from the light itself, feel yourself saying the words, I am.
I am.
That's right. And right from there, bring your consciousness goes right into the light and say it again. I am.
I am.
There you go. And then take your time, and when you're ready, your eyes can open. Beautiful. You got a whole lot done today. How do you think our meeting went?
I feel great. I really do. That was amazing. Hi, I'm Amber. When I was 8 years old, I was sexually harassed for the first time by a boy a little bit older than me. He made me feel very uncomfortable, told me it was okay and normal. Then again, when I was 14, I was sexually assaulted and harassed by someone I trusted, very brutally. And then just again last year, I was sexually harassed, raped, brutally. These things left me feeling very ashamed, dirty, very incoherent with my feelings. I was trying to escape, and went to therapies. It made me talk about it. A lot of it was very painful to have to bring up over and over again. Nothing ever really clicked with me. I didn't understand why talking about it was going to make it better. And then I heard about rapid resolution therapy with Dr. Connelly. And I heard about it, was very skeptical. How could this man do something that I've gone to years of therapy for? And then I met with him, and he was very kind. And the things he taught me, I was astonished. I, for the first time in my life, have felt clear of these things that I've held so deeply in. And I no longer feel ashamed. I no longer feel dirty. It's all gone. I had fun doing it. It was very uplifting. It wasn't like I had to sit there and just talk about all this bad stuff. It was like I was able to talk about it with confidence and know that it wasn't me. It made me feel very good. And I no longer have these problems.
Great. So there we see the final part. And really what happened there is that the adult consciousness merged with child consciousness. So the adult has knowledge that the child does not have. And the adult knows she's on the way to Vegas, or that she was at Vegas and won that $2,000. And so those merge, and it's like the child gets the update. And then consciousness also is merged with the light. And so you see her in terms of, at the end of the session, I mean, she's brighter, she's speaking easily, more freely, her energy is flowing. And that's her kind of with the glitch or the data clog. We believe now that it's gone all the way down, kind of there where high school is, where we know we've been to high school, but we know we're not there now. And so it's filed as been there, done that. And so therefore she's feeling, free of the effects. And we do check up and check in months after, and we get the testimonials like she shared. So that's kind of a very brief video, but I'm always amazed at how much Dr. Connelly gets done in such a short period of time. Her whole session was, I think, about 50 minutes. And some of the questions that I'm seeing, or at least one, someone, Darlene, asked, is RRT effective for all trauma? And yes, it is, right? So trauma is thought of as that impression that is stuck. And so then we do the update, regardless of the nature of the trauma. Sometimes I think of trauma as something that can't be forgotten. But what we do in RRT is we create such a positive effect that now that can't be forgotten and is always remembered. So that's what can be termed post-traumatic growth. Now, someone put in the chat box, is there, or from Facebook, RRT evidence-based? Yes, there has been some research done on RRT. Essentially, it's using the process of memory reconsolidation, and that is absolutely evidence-based. And you're seeing after the fact, as he checks in with Amber, he says, like, try to feel bad. And she's not able to, because mind is no longer misreading it as ongoing. So yes, there's research studies underway. If you know anyone who's had any sexual trauma and is looking to be part of a research study where they get the treatment pro bono, if they've had one incident of sexual trauma, we're doing that research now. There has been research studies. There's some articles that have been published on the RRT website. And like I said, the memory consolidation is absolutely evidence-based. So someone asked, where can I find the RRT training? Well, If you go to rapidresolutiontherapy.com, that is our website. Also in this chat, right at the beginning, there it is. Viva just posted to everyone again that you can register for the RRT fundamentals. It is a 10-week training. It's online where you will get, you will see various types of trauma being cleared with RRT. The training, I mean, people, I've just been through the training. I'm an assistant trainer, and people say, this is the most powerful training I've ever had. Dr. Connelly also, has you apply it to yourself, so people find that they get free of things that were stuck and are feeling energized and excited by the end of the training. And so, yes, if you register before June 12th, you get $250 off, and Viva has posted that exclusive link right here on the chat box. And I really do, like I said, I was a training junkie until I found RRT. And since my first training 5 years ago, it's really the only trainings I go to. I keep getting, there's refresher courses offered, training for advanced students, and it's a great community where we all support and encourage and consult with one another. And really, it's been just a whole different way of healing people. That is, but for me, it's just the most rewarding work I've done in my entire career. So if you have any further questions, of course, email us at info@rapidresolutiontherapy.com. Our phone number is there. All your questions will get answered. I'm so appreciative for this opportunity this evening to be able to share this with you, for the people who showed up here, and for the people on Facebook Live. And thank you, Dan, for the invitation. And I hope to see you in the next training.